What destroys your discipline is not laziness. It's the fact that your brain has been trained to crave easy rewards. Every single day, your mind is surrounded by short videos, notifications, social media, and countless sources of instant dopamine. With just one tap on a screen, you can feel stimulation and excitement without putting in any real effort. Over time, your brain begins to see difficult activities like studying, deep work, or exercising as something that wastes too much energy. That is why so many people want to change their lives but fail to stay disciplined for more than a few days. The problem is not weak willpower. It's that your brain has become used to choosing the easiest path possible. The human brain is naturally designed to conserve energy. To your mind, every action is quickly evaluated. Whatever brings more pleasure with less effort will usually be chosen first. That is why scrolling on your phone for hours often feels far more appealing than reading a book or exercising. A short video can give you a dopamine hit within seconds, while a meaningful goal may take months before you see any real results. Over time, the brain becomes addicted to instant rewards. As a result, activities that require patience, focus, and consistency slowly start to feel boring, exhausting, and harder to begin than ever before. Many people believe dopamine is the chemical responsible for happiness, but the truth is more complicated than that. Dopamine is actually the chemical that creates the feeling of anticipating a reward. It rises most strongly before you get what you want, not after. That is why you can spend hours scrolling through social media and still never feel satisfied. Every time you swipe down the screen, your brain thinks, maybe the next video will be even more interesting. And it is this constant feeling of anticipation that traps people inside endless dopamine loops. Over time, the brain becomes addicted to fast stimulation instead of slower rewards that carry real meaning and long-term value. When your brain receives too much easy dopamine every single day, it slowly adapts by becoming less sensitive to normal sources of pleasure. That is why activities that once felt exciting, like reading books, learning new skills, or going to the gym, can suddenly feel exhausting and difficult to start. Your brain no longer responds strongly to slow rewards because it has become used to the intense stimulation of social media and short-form content. And over time, you begin to lose motivation for almost everything in life. If you have ever felt a strong desire to change your life, but still kept procrastinating, leave a comment below. I'm struggling with this too. The frightening part is that many modern apps are intentionally designed to keep your attention for as long as possible. Behind every short video, every notification, and every endless scroll is an entire system built on psychology and dopamine research. These platforms understand exactly what makes your brain keep coming back for more. And once your mind becomes used to these fast rewards, anything that requires patience and effort starts to feel uncomfortable. It is not because you are weak, it is because you are living in a world specifically designed to steal your focus. Many people misunderstand dopamine detox and think it means completely eliminating dopamine from the brain. But that is impossible, because dopamine is a natural and essential part of being human. What you truly need to reduce are the overly intense and easily accessible sources of stimulation, such as social media, short videos, and habits that constantly flood your brain with dopamine. When you cut back on these excessive triggers, your mind slowly begins to return to a healthier balance. And interestingly, after some time, ordinary activities like reading, working, or exercising can start to feel satisfying and rewarding again. When you first begin a dopamine detox, the first thing you may feel is not peace, but restlessness. You may constantly want to check your phone, feel empty, struggle to focus, or even become slightly irritated. But the important thing to understand is that this is not a sign of failure. It is simply your brain reacting to the sudden loss of the dopamine stimulation it has become used to receiving every day. Like any form of withdrawal, the brain needs time to readjust to a more natural state. And if you are patient enough to get through this phase, you will slowly begin to feel your focus, calmness, and motivation return naturally. To make a dopamine detox truly effective, you first need to identify what is consuming most of your attention every day. For many people, it is social media, short-form videos, or checking their phone the moment they wake up. But for others, it could be gaming, fast food, online shopping, or any habit that constantly pushes the brain to seek quick stimulation. The goal is not to remove these things forever, but to create some distance from them so your mind has a chance to breathe again. Even after just a few days of reducing easy dopamine, you may start to notice your thoughts becoming calmer and your ability to focus slowly returning. The most important part of a dopamine detox is not just cutting things out, it is replacing them with healthier rewards. When you reduce fast stimulation, your brain needs a new source of satisfaction that feels more natural and meaningful. That could be reading a few pages of a book, taking a walk outside, exercising, journaling, or focusing deeply on one task without distractions. At first, these activities may feel boring because your brain has become used to high-intensity dopamine. But over time, you may be surprised to find yourself genuinely enjoying simple things again, things that feel far more meaningful and fulfilling in the long run. There is a huge difference between pleasure and satisfaction. Pleasure is the short-term feeling you get from quick stimulation like scrolling through social media, watching videos, or eating sugary food. It appears instantly, but disappears just as quickly. Satisfaction, on the other hand, is a much deeper feeling that comes from completing something difficult, overcoming procrastination, or staying committed to your goals. And interestingly, those are the moments that truly make people feel that their lives have meaning. If you also want to regain your focus and take back control of your life, don't forget to like the video and support the channel. Many people think discipline means forcing yourself to suffer. But in reality, when you complete something difficult, your brain releases not only dopamine, but also other chemicals connected to confidence, achievement, and long-term happiness. That is why after finishing a hard workout, completing an important task, or overcoming procrastination, you often feel lighter, calmer, and stronger inside. Unlike the short bursts of dopamine from social media, this feeling lasts much longer. And over time, your brain slowly begins to learn that real effort and progress can become addictive in a healthy way too. The most incredible thing about the human brain is that it always has the ability to change. In neuroscience, this is called neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rebuild and strengthen neural connections based on your daily habits and behaviors. That means every time you choose focus over distraction or action over procrastination, you are slowly rewiring your brain. At first, the changes may feel tiny and almost impossible to notice. But over time, those repeated choices begin to shape a completely different version of yourself. A person who is no longer controlled by fast dopamine, but someone who starts finding real joy in discipline, growth, and self-improvement. Many people believe they simply lack discipline, but the real problem is often the environment around them. If your phone is always next to your bed, you will probably check it the moment you wake up. If social media is only one tap away, your brain will naturally choose easy dopamine first. That is why disciplined people usually do more than just change themselves. They also change their environment. They keep their phones out of sight, delete addictive apps, prepare their workout clothes in advance, or create workspaces with fewer distractions. When distractions become harder to access, your brain can more easily return to the things that truly matter. Human beings are far more influenced by their environment than they realize. If the people around you spend hours scrolling on their phones, procrastinating, and constantly chasing instant dopamine, it becomes very easy for you to fall into the same patterns. But on the other hand, when you surround yourself with people who enjoy learning, staying focused, and improving themselves, your brain slowly begins to adapt to those healthier habits as well. Habits are surprisingly contagious. That is why changing your life is sometimes not only about changing yourself, but also about changing your environment and the people you spend the most time with every day. The most dangerous thing about fast dopamine is that it does not destroy you overnight. Instead, it slowly takes away your focus, motivation, and ability to stay consistent little by little every single day. You feel constantly busy, constantly entertained, yet by the end of the day, you realize you have not truly moved any closer to the life you want. Discipline, on the other hand, may feel difficult at first, but it gives you a lasting sense of control, purpose, and meaning. Perhaps the emptiest feeling in life is not failure itself, but knowing you could become a better version of yourself, while continuously allowing distractions to pull you away from that path. Perhaps the most important realization after all of this is not learning how to become perfect, but understanding that your brain is fully capable of changing. You were not born to become a slave to algorithms, fast dopamine, or endless cycles of distraction every single day. Sometimes, all it takes is one small change, spending less time on your phone, focusing more on real life, and giving yourself the chance to reconnect with natural forms of joy again. It will not feel easy at first, but those uncomfortable moments are often the exact moments when your brain is being rewired. If you enjoy topics about psychology, dopamine, and self-improvement, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and join us for the next videos ahead.